I'm going to show you how to generate hundreds of product images within inside Google Sheet using Google's Nano Banana. No fancy applications, just real useful use cases for this. The best part is that most images are going to cost fractions of a cent because we're using a very easy to use API. So you can run this hundreds of times and it's only going to cost you a few dollars. Let me show you how it works and then I'm going to show you how to build this whole thing. So you can see here, I've got the product name, the input image, the prompt, which is going to regenerate that image. And this is the preview output. You can see that I've generated hundreds of different variations for the one person. So, and it's following the prompt here. Let me just give you a quick understanding. So if I follow this, the prompt with the same URL or the same image, change the background, change the laptop to RGB, make his shirt pink, and you see all the images there, eating a banana, the shirt's pink, and it's also changing the different ratios. So it not only works with people, but if you use Nano Banana, you know that you can use this for products like I have here. So let me show you the different variations there. So let's say you have a product that you're trying to sell and you want to place this in different variations, different places. So I've got it in a modern kitchen there, for example, out in the out of nature, someone drinking your product, and a professional photo shoot within the sand. So you can see how useful this is because it took me seconds to create this image, and I can do it all over again. For example, if I want to change this prompt here and say change the man to a woman, and let's change it here, so make the laptop white, for example, I'm going to click on these two and then I go down on my menu that I've created and I'm going to process all selected rows. Since I've only selected these two rows, these are the only two images that are going to be selected. So you can see how useful this thing is. You can see it's changed the first one to a woman like we've asked it here. Let's just check out the image. Perfect. And it should have changed the laptop to white, and there you go, it did that as well. Perfect. So what do we need for this? Well, you need an account with Fall.ai, and Fall.ai allows you to use every single image model and video model out there with one single API key, and they make the integration very, very easy. Sometimes you have to jump through a few hoops if you want to use the Nano Banana API outside of the applications that Google will build for you. You also need this prompt, which I'll leave in the video descriptions below. This is a prompt to generate the script for you. As opposed to just giving you the script, and I'll show you where to get that at the end, I want to give you the prompt that generates the script. That way, if you want to change the functionality of the script, I don't know, you might want it to do something else, you can just change the prompt and it'll do that for you. Kind of giving you the proverbial fishing rod as opposed to the fish, or teaching how to fish as opposed to just giving you a fish, if that metaphor makes sense. And then you need obviously a Google Sheet, and I'll give you the template for the Google Sheet as well. So first thing we need is go to Fall.ai and make an account. When you go to Fall and you make an account, what you'll need to do is place some credits in there. We are using an API call after all. What you want to go to is your settings here. You want to go to account. You want to go to manage, and on the drop down, you'll see this billing information. Right. You see here that I've got some credits, $1.37. You'll be surprised how far that goes. We want to add a payment method there, and you're going to add your credit card details there. I guess the minimum I think you can add is about $5, which is pretty good, and you'd be surprised how far $5 goes. So once you have added your billing details and added about $5 credit or $10 credit, we need to get your API key. And for that, we need to go to manage, we need to go to API keys, and you want to generate one here. You see I've created a lot. We're going to go to add API key here and place a description on it so you don't kind of lose track of this one. So we're going to go Nano Banana in Google Sheets, for example. We're going to create the key. And this is the only time that you're able to access this key. So make sure you save it somewhere that you can reference it. Again, you're going to copy key and make sure you don't lose it. I'm going to delete that one so no one can access it after watching this video. I've got mine saved somewhere else. So we've got a couple of things now. And in the video description below, you're going to have this script here. You want to read some of the functionalities. It's good to understand what it's calling, what it's doing. Even if you're not a techie person, it's okay. But I think it's kind of worth understanding a bit of the functionalities here. I'm going to go to ChatGPT. And then I'm going to paste that script in there and hit enter. Now this is doing a couple of things, not only kind of creating you the whole script, but it's also going to generate a little menu item on your Google Sheet. And I'm going to show you how to integrate this. It's very, very easy. Okay, so this is going to take a little while. Perfect. And great, that should all be done. That is the code that you're going to copy into Google Sheet in a certain location. So down the bottom in the video description, I've left a link where you can make a copy of this, and you won't be able to amend the one that I give you. So you're going to need to go to edit, file, make a copy, and name it whatever you want. For this, I'm going to go YouTube, and I'm going to make a copy. When you've made a copy, it should look a little bit like this, where nothing is filled out, as there shouldn't be. Once you've made a copy of this Google Sheet template that I'll leave, you'll have a pretty kind of blank template there, which is fine. Now, we want to go to extensions and want to go to app script. And there'll be some tiny bit of code for you here. I've just kind of deleted it for this video, but there'll be maybe 2-3 lines of code. You want to delete whatever is in there. And we want to paste the code that ChatGPT gave to us. You don't have to use ChatGPT, by the way. If you've got another AI of choice, that's fine. I'm going to paste it in there. And I want to save this one here. Now, when I go back to Google Sheet, I need to refresh this. And this will kind of reactivate the Google Sheet and all the code. And you can see now that all of a sudden I've got this choice of Nano Banana, which wasn't there before. If I click on that, I want to set the API for fall. And then this will bring up a message, authorization required, because this is kind of an application that Google Sheets doesn't recognize, so it needs your permission to run. You're going to go to OK, and you're going to choose the email that you want to give access to. I'm going to select everything, and authorization successful. And now I need to enter the fall API key. Remember that little API key that I got you to save from fall? That's where this thing goes. Got mine off to the side here. I've got mine to the side here. I'm going to save it in there, and hopefully we should be good to go. So now we need the image ID URL in there, and then we need the prompt, the aspect ratio that we want, and anything else in here. So let's just pick a random product image. I'm going to go, for example, going to look for some Stanley water bottles. They're quite famous. I'm just going to go to image search and see if I can find one here that's going to be easy to kind of replicate. This one looks fairly good. Let me find another one here. Okay, perfect. This one's kind of classic. Okay, so this one is an image that should work. I've got the URL of that image, so just the image. Remember that. I'm going to go to the input image URL. That's where you want to place it. The product name, that's just to keep kind of memory of it so you don't forget the product. I'm just going to put Stanley drink and the product image. And now the prompt. So if I look at this image, let's see. Okay, so for example, I can do simple things like change the color of the bottle to red, and let's do another prompt here with the same URL to make it so a woman in a trail walk is drinking from the bottle. And let's do one more with the same product image saying place this bottle on top of a wooden picnic desk, picnic table, overlooking the Patagonian mountains. Now, before we go to Nano Banana and go process selected rows, we need to select the rows that we actually want this to edit. And you want to choose the aspect ratio. I'm going to choose 1:1, so a square. I'm going to use 4:5, and then this one will be 9:16. Now it should be good to go. I want to go to Nano Banana, and I want to go to process all selected rows. Now, depending on the output that GPT gave you on that script, you might have a few issues, but that's okay. You give the issue to GPT and you go, hey, this isn't working. Can you please fix it? It's not instant as well. It will take some time to run the images, but you can see already I'm getting these back pretty good. It's changed that to red. Let's have a closer look at this one while the other one's loading. Pretty spot on. Let's have a look at this one. What was it? Make it so the woman is drinking in a trail walk. Pretty spot on. And the aspect ratio is good as well. Let's have a look at the other one. In a picnic table overlooking the Patagonia. In a picnic table overlooking the Patagonia. Pretty good. right? So again, I can do hundreds of images, and this only costs me per run. If we go to how much we're spending here, you can keep track of that if you go to your fall account and you go to manage usage. You can see how much you're spending, right? So at 3 p.m. I generated a lot of images and I used $1, all up. I've created 43 images using Nano Banana Edit, and I have used up $1.70. So pretty cheap. This not only work for the product images, but if you want to place people elsewhere, or it's up to your imagination. Don't try to probably, create 100 images at once. You might get some throttling issue. Maybe do 10, 20 at once, but still great for thumbnails and whatever you want. Now, one thing here that I've done this on purpose, you can see that after it generates the images, it's unselected the checkboxes, because if I want to redo them again, I want to make sure that I can select them. And it'll say, if I want to change the prompt again and redo this item again, for example, it'll allow you to do that again. So really simple, really effective use of Nano Banana in Google Sheets. No fancy editing, no fancy tools, difficult hardware, just easy, usable, downloadable images, right? And to download them is really easy. You obviously go here and save image as. You can even get the, let's just make sure that it downloaded that. Yeah, perfect. There it is in my downloads. And you can do a lot more things here. You can probably get it to download it to your Google Drive or whatever it is, but for now, I'll leave it there. Now, creating images for your products and your website is one thing, but you also need traffic to your website so people can enjoy these images generated by Nano Banana and actually make you some sales. And what is working really well is SEO, search engine optimization, but it's slightly changed in the day and age of AI search engines. But I've done a 3-hour-long SEO tutorial on how to do SEO in 2025, taking you from beginner to pretty much expert. And this is completely for free. I'll leave it up here in the video so you can go watch that now. Thanks for watching. Cheers.